I always think it's important to look at where we've come from and to be able to know where we're going, because things are changing so fast in our world. And I think sometimes we need to stop and look at the growth, the evolution, and the changes that are taking place. And so I like this slide just because we got to remember that long time ago, in the early 1900s, just getting off the farm and getting a job in a mine, you were the lucky one. You were the one that was going to get a paycheck, a regular paycheck. You wouldn't be in the field growing your own food. You would actually be the one sending money home. However, from a safety perspective, you were really on your own. Really on your own. And when you look at the evolution of safety and where we've come from moving to simple PPE, to programming, to sophisticated systems that we have today, I often wonder, where are we going? What's the next thing for us as it relates to leadership? And all of us have seen this model before, right? How much time, for those of you in the room, that I know many of you are, safety professionals, are we spending? The time that we spend right at that loss, right at the incident. And compare that to earlier causes and stepping away from the actual incidences and taking that big picture view and starting to look at, so what fundamentally is at the core of our incidents that take place in the workplace? And I know that many organizations are saying, it's all about those leading indicators and we got to get away from the lagging. Absolutely. But how far away are you from the incidences when you're really looking at the big picture and looking at the whole organization and the leadership that it takes to really, truly make a difference from a safety perspective? And so I like to talk a little bit about this idea of safety leadership versus corporate leadership. And I often wonder about what is the difference? Is there a difference? Can you have a poor corporate leadership and poor corporate culture and have great safety leadership? What are the chances of that? And what about your own personal leadership? As leaders in your businesses and in your communities, where does that all fit? Where does it all tie? Because I think it's all the same thing. I think that one of the challenges that we do in the safety world is we separate it out and we call it safety leadership. And I think we do that sometimes because we feel we don't have the influence that we want to have, and we don't have the influence at the corporate level. But one of the messages I always encourage safety people to do is to always talk in terms of corporate leadership and really looking at the big picture, because it is the culture in which we work in that actually dictates our ability to be highly successful from a leadership perspective and a safety perspective. It's not just about the emotional piece and the intellectual. I need to be connected intellectually. I need to be challenged. I want interesting work. But I also need to be connected to my employer and to the work that I do and to my colleagues, to the people that I work with. I want to have that relationship. So what did we learn from all these studies, and what do we know for sure? We have to be able to stand in our employees' shoes. We have to know what their experience is all about. And that was, again, something that came from the video we just watched. How much do we know what their experience is? And some of you intimately know what their experiences are about. You've done it. You've walked in their shoes. But some of you don't. You've stepped away far enough from the actual physical work that you don't actually know. And I mean really feel it, not just say, well, I did that 20 years ago. I mean feel what it's like to be in the bush doing what they do.